Alrighty, so this is CIT 93, and at this point, I hope you've watched the interactive skill playground that I released about a month ago. And now, as promised, I said I would release more content at the first month of August. So here we are. I'm actually on task and on goal, which is happy for me. And I am looking at the week 0 of the course. So at this point, I want to officially welcome you into the course. I want to give you just a bit of an overview of the course itself and have you understand what you need to do to get started in the course, and then some advice from the previous semester students, talk about the tutor and Discord just a little bit. All right, so this content here in week 0, as of this exact moment, has not been published. If you've been in the course, you've been looking at the interactive skill playground. I hope you've taken some time there. So this is not available to me in the student view because it's not published. So what I'm going to do is just come in here and look at the content so we can talk about it. So this is a introduction to programming using JavaScript. Okay, so if you are completely new to coding of any kind, you're in the right place. If you have some coding experience, but are here specifically because of some other requirement, you're in the right place. For whatever your reason to be here, just know that this course is a 4-unit, 100% online course, and it does require a bit of your time and attention. Now this will of course vary based on what skills you bring into it, but this is true of any course that you would take. But as of this recording, in the time that we're living, of course some will ask, why even learn to code anymore? And this is a legit question that I think many of us are grappling with in the time of AI. And I found something that helped me articulate how I feel about AI right now in the video that you're going to see here. And I really encourage you to take the time because I've watched it now twice. Right. So, one of the large courses that teach computer science from Stanford, one of the instructors talks about AI. AI could code. That's why you should learn to code. And that may feel like, why? If AI can code, would I learn to code? And it's really about learning to problem solve, learning to focus your time. And just because it can syntactically code doesn't mean you shouldn't. As a matter of fact, it's a more reason to learn to code. But I understand in the world that we live in, but for whatever reason, right, you're in a path that still requires you to learn to code. So for me, I really attempt to make this course engaging, to give you an experience of learning to code that is as authentic as I can make it in this world. And part of the way I do this, and I covered this in the very first video that I released a month ago, was the idea that one of the key pieces of this course is actually a technical interview where you will either need to walk me through code, your understanding of it, or actually code. And you'll hear more about that technical interview as the course moves on. But I think this video is definitely worth your time to spend because I think it's a fairly contemporary question that we're facing in those of us who teach in this discipline. And I'm so open to having discussion with students about where we're at with it. Now, this program, this course is part of a program, web developer, and I'm in the process of updating this course to integrate AI into it. And there are some courses we call the mechanic shop theory or approach, the pedagogical. What that means is the way we teach it. And in this case, you use AI as a tutor. You don't use AI to code for you because we want you to learn how to code. Now, there are other courses in this program where you would actually use AI, something we called agentic AI. But if you want to know more about how this program is changing, I will probably either talk about that in the future attendance, or please come by and chat with me, because this is something I'm actively doing in this particular moment in this particular semester. Okay, so let's talk about the course. Since we've now, please check it out. Take some time to think about, AI can code. That's why you should learn as well. So how is this course structured? So there's the attendance post. You'll actually see that I will have week one published also at the time I publish this welcome. You'll have code alongs where you actually code along with me. We have checkpoints, which could be a combination of an app that Rick Gomez and I have created that actually is AI in a quizzing type interaction, although it goes beyond quizzing. We'll see. That product is still in development. You'll actually have a development project, and of course, you'll have a technical interview. Okay. So that's the components of this class. Now, I definitely recommend taking a look at Simple Syllabus for more detail on the way the percentage of this breaks down. But just to tell you, the technical interview accounts for 25% of the grade. So it is a very important part, which is really, I'm saying this now, so as a encouragement for authentic learning. The course is set up for sequential. What that means is you can already see this in the way the course is right now, is that you have to work through each part. Now, the playground that I put out in the very before the start of the semester, that one was not sequential. You'll be able to see this week 0, which you actually have to work through to get to week 1. Okay, there is there are holidays as all courses, so make sure you keep those in mind. Now, I don't recommend for those of you that may be in this situation to take CIT28, which is SQL, and 93 at the same time. So mostly because of the cognitive load that these classes, because you're actually learning to code in each of them. And it's just, I've noticed when students try to take them together, which by the way is something I'm fixing in the curriculum that is coming. There is tutoring for sure. As a matter of fact, the one thing I'm going to look at in a second is actually advice from last semester. The students who took the course definitely recommended checking out the tutor. We have a great tutor. We actually have more than one, but our primary tutor is Brianna Rayburn, and she is awesome. Okay, so your first assignment, which is here, right? So actually requires you to give me some content. And the content you're going to give me is your GitHub username. Okay, so and I don't have this published, so I can't flip over, but what you will see is a start assignment. And in that box, in that place, there'll be a box that you actually put what I'm about to show you. So part of this course, it's a very important part, is learning how to use Git and GitHub. So I'm going to move over to a tab here where I have my GitHub already open and my account listed here. So what you will do is go to github.com. I should have provided this. Oh, yeah, I did right here. A link to GitHub. And so if you have an account already, for some reason you may have, because many students actually I've noticed have been exposed or know about it. But if you haven't, don't worry about it. You're not behind. You're right on time. Is that you go to github.com, you create a user account, create a free one, don't pay for it. There's no need, even though they may try to upsell you. Don't do it. Just create a free account. And then what you will do in this assignment, when you click Start Assignment at the top, you will actually see a box where you actually give me that username. Okay. And then what I will do is I'm going to invite you into our GitHub organization, because it's really important that you first submit this username so I can invite you, because this becomes timely because you're going to need it for your week 1. Okay. So I'll show you that overview in a second. So the point of this assignment is for you to give me your GitHub username so I can invite you into the GitHub organization that we use so that you can get the week 1 work done. Okay, so that's how this flows. So let me go back here just to kind of start over here. So that's the welcome. The next, so once you submit that, then you're going to see the advice from the fall 2026 semester. The students that took that actually took their feedback and I sent it through AI to give you a summary of that. And that's there. At this point, Brianna's schedule is not posted, but there's a video from her there. But once we have her confirmed schedule, you will see that listed, and there's a link that you can, but I'll be talking about that as we move into the course. And then there's the Discord system that we use, not the Discord system, but the Discord server that we use, and there's an invite there. I highly recommend you join the Discord community. There will be a channel specifically for our course. And then once you view these 3 items, you submit and then you view, then you'll be able to actually look at your week 1 assignment. So you can see here you have an attendance post. I actually reviewed this the other day and felt like it totally was fine because I actually redid this course. And I talk about, right, the GitHub username a little more, accepting the invite, the criticalness of it. And then I talk about, right, your development environment. And I talk about the different choices here. And then I give you a prompt that I actually want you to interact with. Because again, the idea here is that we're using AI as a tutor, right? So in this case, we're using it to give you the experience of the importance of writing actual instruction, because that's definitely a part of what you're going to learn here is learning how to write instruction in JavaScript for the computer, in this case for the browser, for the user interface. But it is part of what we're doing. An important part is learning to problem solve. And part of that is just thinking through, breaking down a problem. Like, how do you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Uh, we know how, but how could you instruct somebody else to do it? Okay, so you complete that. Now, these are timely assignments, and what do I mean by that? So this assignment here, right, is the first one is due by the first day of the semester. Okay, so you'll need to have done this, and then there's 2 assignments that are due on the Thursday night. And you see this is a common pattern for my course. You have a Monday night and a Thursday night due date. And so in this case, I definitely recommend do not wait on starting on your development environment. I will talk about it in week 1, and then you will have some beginning basic coding set up that you'll need to do. Okay, so learning about HTML, CSS, that structure, the JavaScript file itself, how you link all that together. And I'll do it fairly quickly, but no, that's part of what we're going to get into in week 1. Now, my general process for publishing content is at minimum, I try to have it a week ahead of the due dates. Okay, so in this case, I'm just one day off because I'm on Tuesday. Again, you may not know, you might go, well, it's not Tuesday where I'm at, depending on when you watch it. This is the truth of 100% online course, is even though we probably are not in the same time and place when you see my recordings, I am available, or the tutor is available when you need, hopefully. Right? Now, again, this depends on your schedule. I mean, the benefit of taking an online 100% online course is you have the flexibility to work on things when they work in your schedule, but you're still confined or restricted to the due dates that are here. So you have some flexibility, but make sure you still reach out. Matter of fact, that's going to be one of the things that you will see in the advice about from the prior students. I definitely recommend taking some time there. Okay, so but my point about this was that I will publish at least a week ahead. So my goal for week 2 would be to have this published, right, by the Friday before it is due. Okay, our Friday coming into the week it's due is how I should say that. Okay, so hopefully now you have an idea this is a beginning coding class. You need to create a GitHub username, provide that to me so I can invite you into the GitHub organization. Remember, there's a timeliness about that. And review the advice. Look at Brianna's quick video. You'll see her schedule later. Consider the Discord, and then you can start into week 1. Now, because this is, and I'm looking at the calendar, it's August 4th. This assignment here is not due until the 10th, but again, the benefit, there's a real benefit to working ahead. And what that allows you to do is if you're working ahead, you can get help if you need it. And you're going to hear this, if you haven't heard this term mantra, but something somebody says over and over again from me, is the benefit to working ahead is that you can get help. And A, B, if you submit it and you miss something and I review it because I grade daily, then you can correct something that you may have missed in my review before the due date, and therefore you can get a higher score possibly if you've missed part of those points. So a real benefit. And I didn't even talk about that until now as I was doing the review of the content that I'm covering. All right, I'm glad you're here. I look forward to connecting with you. Know coming into this course, we're in an interesting time in the world with AI. Definitely check out the video from the Stanford CS because for me, it was like he said it much more eloquently than I would have. And I appreciate the consciousness that goes into that because I think we are always at an inflection point with technology. It's just the nature of it. I've been around it for more years than I probably care to mention, but this is one of those inflection points where things are changing rapidly, and it totally makes sense if you're questioning why I should even learn to code. I think this gives you a good reason, but regardless, you're on a path that does require this course. So let's help you be successful and hopefully have some fun along the way. Glad you're here, and I'll talk to you soon.